Hey, Rebels. Okay. So, about a year ago, I was, I can remember looking at the news and there was, lots of stuff going on around the war with in Ukraine and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I think a lot of people were feeling a bit insecure because we had a lot of stories in our head about what was going on out there and what the world was going to look like and sadness around things that were happening and stuff like that. And I could sense in me a feeling that I hadn't felt for quite a long time. Now, when I was in my early 20s, I read a lot of books in and around death and dying. So I read a lot of I read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and really went into the Tibetan kind of literature around this. And to my surprise, I found it incredibly comforting to look in that direction, because what it did for me was that it helped me to live. It helped me to live. There's a beautiful book called "How We Live Is How We Die," and by Pema Chodron, and a number of books in this that have been very helpful for me on my journey. So I say that because what I felt was happening was I had this fear coming up. This like, oh God, what if we're not here in 6 months? But in this flash of a just the moment, just one morning, I remember thinking to myself, okay, Sam, you know this, you've been here before. Well, if you only had 6 months to live, what would be different? Are there things that you'd be doing that you're not doing now? Are there things that you'd be creating? And who do you want to be? Like, what are the things that you want to create? And it was an incredibly powerful reflection for me, because pretty much that day I realized, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to create. I'd be wanting to help people to know that all of their feelings and their psychological experience is safe. I would want them to really deeply know that. I would want people to be living from that space of love and resilience, so they didn't feel like a victim of their stories about what was happening out there in the world. Because I'm like, I know that we're not feeling the world. I know that I can get tricked into thinking that I am, but it just doesn't work like that. And I want other people to know that too. So this whole podcast, Rebel Spirituality, came from that morning, because it became very clear to me that this thing that's been brewing and being created for the best part of 2 decades, although I've had a lot of, I used to have a huge amount of insecurity around doing this. Being a spiritual guide, I was like, yeah, you're going to do that now, aren't you, Sam? What are people going to think of you? Like, how, how could you possibly go on that journey when you're so fucked up and you've got so much crazy shit going on in your head, right? But it didn't matter. It kept knocking. And then, as I say, a year ago, I reflected on that and I was like, no, this is the time. I got to put this together. And quite literally, I started putting things together, and here we are, like where you're listening to this right now, and it came from that. So I want to pose that question to you. If you knew that you had 6 months or a year left on the planet, what are the things that you'd be doing? What's important to you? Does it give you a sense of focus? Does it give you a sense of, I guess, like focus, like a laser on the things that you really want to get done? Are there things that you've been putting on the back burner for a rainy day, and you're in danger of them never happening if you don't make them happen? And I understand we don't have to rush into things completely gung-ho. Perhaps that's something that you want to do. Perhaps there's something you want to build, or a business. Can you find half a day a week? Can you start doing that thing and doing it for free? Can you offer it, and so it's going to bring more joy into your life? Is there a bridge that you can build towards that thing? And can you start looking in that direction? In spite of potentially insecurity and stuff like that, it's okay. Like, you're a human. That stuff can happen. But the thing that I see more and more these days is, the more I think about that and the more I ponder questions such as that, the more just focus I get on what's important, on what I'm here for, what my heart wants. It allows me to strip out a lot of the bullshit that society tells us, or ways that things have to be done, or the ideas that we've carried around about what we're capable of. It's like, well, fuck it. Let's see what I'm capable of. Let's go that way. And it's in that light. I've got a few things coming up next year that I'm really excited to do, things I've never done before, program launches and really cool things around the corner. So stay tuned. But yeah, sit with that today. Sit with it. Are Are there things that you've been sweeping under the carpet that you know in your heart you want to bring into being? And just take one little step. Just take one little step. We don't have to do this huge action or anything like that. Like I've started doing this thing called lazy action, which is where I kind of just lazily do something small, and I do lazily do something small each day, and you'd be amazed how quickly those things add up, right? It's unbelievable. A few average days stuck together is one hell of a lot better than a bunch of days where we don't do anything, or days where we're convincing ourselves you need to have the best day ever. And if you're not going to have the best day ever, what's the point? It's like, no, just start doing some stuff. Feel that resistance, start doing some stuff anyway. See what you can create, because you might be surprised. You might suddenly have 24 episodes of a podcast out there that's growing, and be blazing your unique path to the life that you most want. All right, team. That was it. Don't know. Just occurred to me to share that. It felt really real to me today. So there it is. It's put out there. And I look forward to hearing what you're thinking. I always love it when you reach out to me and let me know what's landing for you. All right, team. See you soon.